Hey guys, it's Rachel at From Mums to Milestones, and I'm here today to put together our newest 3-card class kit. This class kit is featuring some new washi tapes from a new company called Aall and Create. And these washi tapes come on a roll. Oh, did I not have one sitting here? Hold on. So they come on a roll, and they create images if you layer them up. So, for instance, this here is the Flamingo that we used on this card. So I'm just going to show you real quick. So when you lay it out, there are different, you can see all the layers, and they go in order, and you just layer them up to create those images. So we've used 3 different kinds here in our class kit. We used the Flamingo, the old telephone, and this one creates more of like a pattern paper with the hummingbirds. So we're going to make those 3 cards. If you get a kit, it's going to come with pictures and written instructions, and then the list of all the things I used to create the kits. So we will go ahead and get started with this one here, which is the Sending Love. So let's get out our first kit. And what I have done is I have already pulled off the washi tape off the roll for you, and I put it onto some freezer paper. So the freezer paper is shiny on one side, so it should make it easy to peel off. So that's how all of yours are going to come. Obviously, if you bought your own roll, you could make multiples of any of these cards. So let's go ahead and start with that. So in this kit, you're going to have a solid piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to just start at the top and work my way down. So I'm going to grab this. I've kind of done the hard work for you, which is to line up the strips. You're going to pull it off, and I'm just going to start in the top right corner, or top left hand corner here. And it may not be perfectly straight, so I might have it hang off a little, and I'm going to line it up at the top. And then I am going to, oh, I don't want it to stick on just yet. I'm just going to line it up at the top and stick it down like so. And then I'm going to grab the next one. Okay. And then we're going to come in and just line it up. I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to line up that bottom wing. And it should line up perfectly. And then I'm going to butt it right up against the other so it's seamless. So you don't see, there's no white gap. So it just looks almost like pattern paper. Obviously, this particular washi tape you could use just as regular washi tape, but this is kind of a cool feature that you can layer it up and end up with a what looks like pattern paper. Okay, and then our last one. And I just ripped that, which is okay. The nice thing about it is it lines right back up, so you're not going to be able to tell. I don't have that lined up just right. Alright, so that's on there, and I'm going to take this little bit here and line that back up. And you can hold on to that freezer paper, it's reusable, or you can toss it. So this I'm going to match up here. perfect. And you can't even tell that that was ripped there. So what you're going to end up with is this, and so you probably have some pieces hanging off. I have some of the white that has nothing on it. So we're going to put this in our trimmer, or you can use scissors here as well, but I'm going to trim it down. So originally I believe this was 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to first come in and just trim off that washi tape, and that stuck to my trimmer, so get that off. And let me go ahead and do this. You could certainly use scissors, it would probably be just as easy and it wouldn't stick to your, there we go. All right. And now there is a white part not there. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim that off. I'm going to trim it to 3 7/8. And I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit of this. I'm going to go to 5 1/8. You could certainly take off a whole 1/4 inch. Whatever you've got, you know, what you need to trim away is fine. So now I have this piece, and it will, I'm going to have a nice even black border. So whatever you do to one side, you want to do to the other so that you have an even border all the way around. Now, before we stick that down, we're going to distress it a little bit. So I set these out in class. These are made from the same company, and they are just little, there's 4 in this one and 3 in this, just little stamp sets, clear stamps that we're going to use to distress up our image here. So I'm going to use some black ink, some permanent. Let me see, I've got Hero Arts Intensified Black Ink, and I'm going to get a little stamp block. I have all my small ones left in what we use for class, so I'll just use this big one here. So first I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to pick one, anything you have. If you have some word stamps and you want to stamp, I mean, if you don't have this particular kit, you could, skip this, or if you have some other distress or small stamps that you could add to it, certainly you can do that. So I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to stamp a couple spots with that, clean it off. Let's see, there's a smaller one, I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to layer that right next to it. Alright, and then in the other set, this one has some postage marks and a little stitching, so I'm going to go in and use those. So I'll start with the stitching, and I'm just going to come in here, and then I'm going to stamp off, so I get a couple. There's no right or wrong, we're just distressing it up a little bit. And I think I will use that postage. And it does have words on it, so if you want it to be straight, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put that here and stamp it off up there. Alright, so I'm happy with that. We'll set those aside because we're going to use those again. So there is that. And then the other thing I did, I'll hold up my sample if you can see the glitter. I just chose some different areas on the Hummingbird that I wanted to highlight. So I'm going to use some wet glue. And I have my little glue press here. And I'm just going to pick some different areas. And so here I'm going to just put down some dots around the chest. I'll lift it up here, it'll be easier. Oops. And on the wings, I'm going to do some lines. do some lines here. And maybe here on his chest. So just like that. And then I have some Hero Arts Prisma glitter. And let me get something to shake it off into. There's some scratch paper. Alright. Get the excess off of that. Let that dry for a few minutes while we do the rest. So here's your white card base, and you'll have a black card panel. So we're going to put down that black card panel. Alright. And then I did not get that on super straight. I'm going to get out my trimmer. I don't like that I can see the white behind there. Alright, fix that. And then this piece is going to go on there centered. Now I popped mine up. You don't have to if you don't want to. I think I'll just glue it straight down this time. So we'll just center it on there. Alright, so that's on there. So now we're going to find our sentiment, which we have here. And we have the sending love. So this strip is going to go straight on the card. And I have it down here, and it's lined up all the way to the edge of the black. So try to get that straight. Hope you are well. And then the sending love goes on top, and you can pop that up if you want. So let me find some strips. Actually, I have this. They come in full sheets, but we're going to cut it apart. I think that will work well. I can just cut a thin strip. And it's not going to be super bulky. And then that piece is going to sit right on top of the Hope You Are Well. Just like so. Alright, so that card is finished. Our next card is Be True to Who You Are, and this time we're going to use the Flamingo washi tape that I showed you earlier, and we're also going to use some rub-ons. So we're going to start. You have a white card base. We don't need that for right now. You have a black piece and this white piece. So this white piece fits right inside. When we're done, it's going to fit right inside that. But for now, we just want this piece here. And I have it where it has this little notch out is at the bottom. This little triangular with the notch out I have at the bottom, and we're going to build our flamingo right on top. So I'm going to start with the piece that has his head on it. So I'm going to peel that off, and I'm going to kind of center it and just below this little dot right here, because we don't really want that. So it's about a 1/2 inch or so, 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to lay it down. And then we'll just go in order. So we're going to line him up. Sometimes it's easier for me so I can see if I have a gap or not. Alright, and then our last piece, it's on there. Alright, line up those flowers. So now you'll notice there's some edges over here that are going off and there's edges that are inside. So it's up to you if you want to come in with scissors or a craft knife and come in and cut that so that matches up perfectly. But we're really going to do some distressing and you're not going to be able to tell. So there's a couple things you can do. You can just come in and if you want like a raw edge and just tear it, which is probably what I'm going to opt for. That will lend itself to the distressed look. You could cut it with scissors, or you could come up right here on the edge and try to follow along, but I really think this tearing is the way to go. If you want a straight edge, you could put down like a credit card or a gift card. That's always a good trick. I have one here. You just pull against it and it cuts straight. So yeah, just a little hanging off here. So that looks good to me. I'm just going to give it a good press, make sure all the edges are down. And then in your kit you have some rub-ons. So you're going to have a nice long strip, a shorter strip with they're like kind of like lines, and then you're going to, everybody's going to be a little different, but you're going to have a little square of larger colors. And so like this one, I'm going to cut it apart a little, and you can cut right in the middle. Nobody's going to know what was there or what wasn't there. And I'm just going to take this and lay it down somewhere. I'm going to go off the edge so I have that real harsh line. I'm going to cut right through the middle of that one. I'm going to put this one down here. And let's see. I think I'm going to use this one. Let's do this. I'm going to cut that apart again. So it's up to you, however you feel like it should work. In that corner, I'm going to kind of come up here with that. So it's like that. And this last one, I'm going to come over. I'm going to hold off on that one. I'm going to wait and see. For the lines, I'm going to come where this white space is. That's what I'm going to try to eliminate. So I'm going to cut it here. And right there. And I'm just going to kind of layer it right at the top of him. So now I'm going to get my popsicle stick. And you can do them one at a time. I just laid them all down and now I'm going to rub them on. And it will layer right over that washi tape. And if your washi tape ends like it does right here, then it'll go right onto the paper like so. Give it a good rub. And if you have areas where it doesn't all come off, like I still have some on there, you can see, I'm just going to come over here and rub it right here. Perfect. And let's see, we're doing this big, large stripe there. And if there's some little lines you want to put somewhere else, that's what's kind of cool about a rub-on. Do this one here. So there's some extra lines. I'm just going to continue that there. And then you can definitely use up what we've got. So I still have some spots down here that I too white for me, so I'm going to go in with that. Any little bit, might as well use it all. And then I have a few more of these lines left with some color. So let's see, I'm going to put one here, and you can just layer it right up over what's already there. And I'm going to go ahead and use it all. Why not? If I go right here. And then I'm going to have that. Let's see. I want it down there or over here. Or you could go off to the side. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to use this bit here. And this bit. And here. And one more little, put some green down here. Alright, so just be creative, use them up, might as well. And now I have this image here. So we're gonna kind of distress it up a little bit more. So we're gonna get those stamps back out. Stamp block and the ink. And I'm going to go in with stamp, like so. Get out that stitching. And then on the other one, I'm going to get out the little rings. All right. Feel good about that. I think I'm done with those. Hopefully I wasn't completely off camera for that. Wasn't really paying attention. So I have little spots all over. And you may want to, I mean, it is washi tape. You may want to make sure it's dry before you really get in there and do much else to it. But I'm going to get out an ink blending tool. And I'm just going to ink the edges as well. And that'll help everything kind of get a uniform look. Take down any of that bright white that was there. All right. is our image. And we are going to glue it down to this black piece. And there are embossed lines on there for you to follow, so I can see that that goes there, and we're just going to center it on there. I'm going to flip it over and rub it so I don't rub off any of that ink that's not dry. Alright, so there's that. And now, before we put this on our card base, you can see it's not going to fit. I'm going to cut down my card base to a 3.5 by 5 card and glue it to the back. So if you want it to be bigger, you can play around with the size of that, but that really seems to work the best. So I'm going to cut it 3.5 by 5. And then I'm going to flip this over, keeping in mind that I want my card to open this way, so it's going to be like this. And I'm going to put glue on that, and I'm just going to center it back there. Alright, so there is that, and your card will open like so. And then I'm going to put on my sentiment, so you can pop that up if you want. I put mine down here just below. You could put it over here, wherever you feel like it fits after you've, you know, just stressed your paper. So I'm going to get another thin strip here. I'm going to put this one over here. I feel like it looks better on this side this time. All right. That card is finished. One final card here. You are brilliant. Oh, I got old rotary phone here. So we're going to start. So in the back of your kit, you're going to have 2 round pieces, and then you have a third one. These are thicker than this one's, a lot flimsier. You'll just be able to tell by holding it. Okay, one of the thick ones has a score line on it, and the other one does not. So you're going to, on that fold line, on that score line, just fold it back. I'm going to pull it back towards me, and I'm going to put glue just on that part that you glued, or that you folded. So there's your score line. Just above that, you're going to put the glue, lay it down in front of you, and then you're going to line up the circles and press where that glue is. Okay, so now when you open your card, you have a round card base. All right, we're going to set this aside. So now we aren't going to use the wrong circle for this. So this circle is what we're going to build up our little telephone on. So on this one, I think I'll start at the bottom. I think I'll have it just centered. There we go. That. last piece. My fingers are sticky from the glue. Okay. So there is our telephone. And you can see over here it didn't come all the way. That's okay. We're going to put a frame around it. We're going to just dress a little bit. It'll be fine. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut away the excess. You could wrap it around if you wanted. All right, so there's our telephone. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to just dress it up. So I'm going to get out the stamps again. Right on top. I think I will use the stitching. And I think maybe I stamped it upside down. That's okay. All right, so there's that, and I'm going to go ahead and get the edges as well. And now you can't even tell where it starts and ends. So before I put the frame on, I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down so I can easily match it up. So one thing you want to do, I mean, you could certainly have your card open to the side. So you could do it like that, and then your card would open that way. I'm going to have mine open up and down, so I'm going to make sure my is straight. My card base is straight. And then I will glue down the panel on the top. And then this frame is going to go right over the top. Now it just fits. It's a little tricky, so I suggest putting glue. I think I'm going to put some glue on my fingers and go around the edges. It'll dry clear, but if you want to just do a thin bead of glue around the edges, that would work too. And then I'm going to stick that right. I'm going to flip it over and put that right on top. And kind of center it. Actually, going to get out my freezer paper, shiny side up. Now it won't stick to anything. Just going to hold that for a minute while it Alright, so I feel like that is good and adhered. Clean off my fingers. So there is that. And so the last step I'm going to do with this before I put on my sentiment is I have some glitter in the stamens of these flowers, or if you prefer, you could try some frills So here I have kind of a orangey, what is this? A penny saved. It's more of a copper color. And I think I'm going to use prills on this one. So right here there are stamens on these flowers. And I'm just going to put some dots of glue around the flower centers. And then those, I don't know where my, oh there it is. I'm going to fold these ends in so that it catches the prills. They like to go everywhere. So let me get out a spoon. I'm going to spoon them right on top of my glue. And I like to let them sit for a minute while that glue dries. It is quick, fast drying glue. But that will help it adhere better. So I'm just going to let it sit for 10 or 15 seconds. And then I'm going to carefully, they're little balls, so they're going to roll everywhere. Maybe not the glue around the edges didn't dry, but that's okay. I'm just going to rub it off. You can see it's coming off real easy. But now I'll get up close and see if you can see where those flower stamens are. It's kind of a cool effect. You could also put in glitter if you wanted. All right. So I have those on there, and then the You Are Brilliant is going to go right down here, and I'm just going to glue that one straight on. You can see there's a little piece that didn't get poked out. Okay. And I'm just going to put this down here. So. And now you have your cute little round card. There it is. You are brilliant. And that card's finished. Alright, that does it for this class. I hope you enjoyed working with the washi tape. Again, this is, the brand is Aall and Create. And they have several different images to choose from. And like I said, if you got a roll, you could repeat this over and over and give out nice note card sets, but it's a fun way to have beautiful images that you don't have to stamp in color. So if you're interested in a kit, you can look for them on our website at it's FromMomentsToMilestones.com, and you can look for our card kits here. This would be the Aall and Create washi tape card class. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.